was about a guy who looked up one day and he said, I don't have any luck. Look at that. My neighbors live in nicer houses. They drive better cars. Their jobs pay more than my job pays. Why do they get all the luck and I don't have any luck? I'm going to go find out. So the man went to the wise old woman in his village, and he said, Wise old woman, tell me something. Why do I have no luck? And the wise old woman said, beats me. I don't know. I can't answer that question. She said, if you want to know why you don't have any luck, you'll have to ask God. He said, fine. Where do I find God? She said, well, see that mountain over there on the horizon? There's a big cloud over that mountain, and in that cloud, you will find God. Ask him why you don't have any luck. The man set off on his journey to the mountain to ask God why he had no luck. And on his way, he passed a circle of wolves. Big, strong wolves. Their fur was sleek. Their muscles were taut. They were powerful creatures, high the moon, all except for one little guy sitting on the edge of the circle, away from the rest of them. He was scrawny. He had fleas. He was mangy. He looked up at the man and he said, hey, mister, where are you going? The man said, I'm going up to that mountain there to ask God why I don't have any luck. Could you ask him for me? Why I'm not big and strong like all the other wolves are? Would you ask God what I need to do to grow big and powerful like my brothers? Yeah, I'll do that. Well, the man went on his way, and he came to where there was a road being built. There at the edge of the road were trees all lined up, big, powerful trunks, leaves shading the road on both sides. Beautiful trees except for one. Little spindly thing. Had about 4 branches, maybe half a dozen leaves on each branch. And it quivered its leaves at him and said, hi, mister, where are you going? The man said, well, I'm up to that mountain there to find God. I'm going to ask him why I don't have any luck. The tree said, would you ask God for me? Why, I'm not growing like all the other trees along the road grow. Ask God what I need to do to get a big, strong trunk and a lot of shady leaves. Yeah, okay, said the man, I'll do that. He went on, and toward nightfall, he passed a pretty little house. Standing in front of this pretty little house was a very pretty little woman. She said, hi, mister, where are you going? He said, I'm just up to that mountain there. I'm going to go find out from God why I don't have any luck. Would you ask God a question for me? She said. Ask God why I feel lonely and incomplete. Yeah, I'll do that, he said. She said, and you know, it's getting dark. You're not going to be able to reach the mountain before nightfall. I've got dinner on the table. Why don't you come in and share a meal with me? And you can be on your way in the morning. So the man went in and they had a beautiful dinner. They talked all night long. They talked about everything and they laughed, and it was a great evening. The next morning the man went on his way and she waved and said, don't forget, ask God why I feel lonely. Well, the man climbed the mountain. And he got to the top where the cloud was. And there in the middle of the cloud, sure enough, there was God. God looked at the man and he said, what do you want? And the man said, what I want is I want to know why I don't have any luck. Why my neighbors drive better cars and live in nicer houses and have better jobs than I have. God looked at the man and he said, if you don't have any luck, because you're stupid. If you don't have any luck, it is because you are so self-centered and so self-absorbed that you can't see what's going on all around you. God said, go home. Go home. On your way, you will find exactly the kind of luck you deserve. All right, said the man. Thanks, I guess. And he turned to leave, and then he said, oh, wait, I got 3 more questions for you. God said, yeah, I know, I'm God. And here are the answers to your questions. And God gave him the answers to the questions of the woman and the tree and the wolf. The man went down off the mountain, and when he came to the woman's house, she was waiting for him. She said, "Did you talk to God?" "Yeah, I did." "Did you ask him what I need to do so that I won't feel lonely?" He said, "Yeah, I did." "God told me to tell you that the reason you feel lonely and incomplete is because you haven't found your life's partner yet. You're still single, and God says for me to tell you that as soon as you find someone to share your life with, you won't feel lonely and incomplete anymore." She said, "Well, gosh, you're single. Would you like to be my life's partner?" He said, "Can't do it. I gotta go home. God told me to go find my luck." He went on his way, and when he came to where the trees were growing, the little spindly tree, he said, "Hi, did you remember to ask my question when you saw God?" "Yeah, I did. And God told me to tell you that the reason you're not growing is because there's a big wooden box full of gold coins, and your roots are all tangled up in that. God said as soon as that box is removed, your roots will sink right down to where they get the water they need, and you'll grow as big and strong as all the other trees." "Fantastic," said the tree. "Look, there's a shovel the workers left. Would you take that shovel and dig that box of gold out from under my roots?" The man said, "Can't do it. I gotta go home and find my luck." Finally, the man came to where the wolves were, and there was that little bitty wolf, and he said, "Hi, did you ask God my question, why I don't grow strong like my brother wolves do?" The man said, "Yeah, I did. And God told me to tell you that the reason you're not big and strong is because you don't get enough protein. You're not getting enough to eat. God told me to tell you you should eat the first fool that crosses your path." That's exactly what the wolf did. And the man got exactly the luck that he deserved.